What's good, folks? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Elijah. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about cryptocurrency and the state that it's currently in. And I also wanted to talk about inflation and how those two things intertwine. So we're going to dive deeper into the content for today. But overall, I want you all to continue to pay attention to the cryptocurrency market. Right now, it is in a slump or a typical looking like a bear market, but we can't tell if it's in a bear or a bull market right now because there are some critical support lines that Bitcoin has been fluctuating between right now. But the point being is you got to continue to pay attention to this market because one thing and the most important thing is the most money is made whenever there is a crash, not when things are going up, because you want to be buying cheap, buying low, and selling high. So this is very, very important, and this is one of the most critical pieces and piece of time in the cryptocurrency market. So stay tuned and continue to pay attention, continue to stay updated on what's going on, continue to understand fundamentally what value cryptocurrency has. So anyway, let's just dive straight into the details for today. So as you can see on my screen, we're going to be talking about, first things first, this past week, cryptocurrency has bounced over $10,000. So we saw an all-time low of $29,000 for the year of 2021 in July 20th. So this was like a week ago exactly. So we saw it float around the 29,000. We thought it was going to go a little bit lower than that. But then ever since the 21st, and there is a catalyst for this event actually. So Cathie Woods, Jack Dorsey, and Elon Musk had a conference that we were talking about Bitcoin. So Cathie Woods is the CEO of ARK Invest. It is a huge investment fund. They manage over $50 billion, an insane amount of money. And second, we have Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, of course. That was one of the first people that triggered the market to go into a downtrend. And then Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Square and Twitter. These folks are very, very vocal when it comes to the cryptocurrency market. So they had a conference, all three of them together, and it was super, super positive. And we saw a 10K run. So Bitcoin managed to fight all the way up to $40,000 from $29,000 within 1 week. So this is very powerful, and I want you to understand this because the cryptocurrency market can flip the switch in a matter of days. This is why you should continue to pay attention to this market because fundamentally, the market still has a very, very strong ability to have network effect take root. So besides that point, I wanted to address two more things. Are we switching gears to a bull market? So it does kind of look like we are switching gears to a bull market, but I want to talk about two pieces of information that are very, very important. That's going to determine whether or not we are actually switching into a bull market or if we are going to continue back into a bear market. So first things first, I want to mention, if we are to switch into a bull market, we would have to pass a threshold right around here, so $40,300. If we are able to pass that support line, that would be one of the key support lines that we will have to pass. The first one we already passed was 38,000. If we're able to break past the 40,000 mark, then it would signal that Bitcoin is pushing forward, and the people that support the bull market of Bitcoin are starting to gain more control inside the market. So the second part of the coin right now is the bear market, and what that's going to look like is if Bitcoin manages to drop below $28,000. So we saw it go to $29,000, but it was able to keep strong around that mark. And as you can see, over the past couple of actually months now, it hasn't been able to drop lower than the 30,000 mark. And $29,000 was kind of pushing the area. So we're going to have to continue to keep an eye on it and see if Bitcoin is going to slump back in the next couple of weeks and what that is going to look like, and whether or not we are going in a bull or bear market. So now let's talk a little bit about inflation in the United States and why this is relevant to this conversation today. So in the 1800s, $1 is equivalent to around $21.56 today. So that's over $20 increase in terms of value. So why is that relevant? Why is that even important? So I wanted to bring up one thing when it comes to the different sectors that inflation occurs in. So inflation, how does it work? You just think things get expensive over time. Inflation is, money loses value over time. Things get more expensive as you're trying to buy stuff. But then the important question is, what actually gets expensive, and where do those things get expensive at? So if you take a look at this chart I have on my screen, beautiful one, you can see that at the very most expensive thing that grows over time is medical care. So medical care, the average inflation for medical care is over 4.69%, and the total inflation since 1800 is over 2 million percent. Over 2 million percent. That is ridiculous. So, I mean, we all know healthcare is expensive in the United States, but this is insane. To see this rate of change over the past couple of hundred years, absolutely bonkers number. And now the average increase is right around close to 5%, which is still relatively high compared to anything else on this chart. If you look on the next number 2, we have housing. Housing is the second thing that actually gets inflation. So first we have your health, second we have your housing and your living. And then the next thing I want to point out here is transportation. So the third thing here is transportation on this list that gets more expensive. And then the fourth thing we have is food and beverages. So we have your health, we have your living, we have your food, we have your transportation. So if you look at these other things on the list, apparel, 1.95%, relatively like half or even lower than half in terms of the inflation rate and the growth. Education, 1.8%, also relatively lower. Recreation, the lowest, 1.11%. So why is this relevant? Why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because your money is losing value in the most important segments of your life. So your housing is getting more expensive, your food is getting more expensive, your healthcare is getting more expensive, your transportation getting from point A to B is getting more expensive. So why is this relevant to anything I'm talking about today? So if you look at the average property value in the United States, Zillow has this forecast showing you that the average home is worth $293,000 in the United States now. And if you look at this chart here in 2020, this number was a whole lot less, right around 250,000. 2019, before we got into the pandemic, was 240,000, and the rate of change was right around like the 10%, kind of like that range. But then, as you see, between 2019 and 2020, we have just gone bonkers. Like the line has just gotten steeper in terms of like the rate of change. So it's increasing in value, which means it's getting more expensive, which means inflation is affecting those areas. So now, how is this relevant to Bitcoin? So Bitcoin was created as a direct hedge against inflation. What does that mean? It means that your value is stored over time, just like gold. Gold was one piece of gold 200 years ago is one piece of gold today. Why? Because gold is still gold. But the US dollar, because they print more and more and more, it loses value and its buying power over time. So this is an article from Coinbase, and it talks about Bitcoins particularly. And it says here, one attribute that's made cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin particularly, appealing to investors is the idea that they're more resistant to inflation than fiat currencies like the US dollar. So the total number of Bitcoin that's ever able to be created is 21 million, and we are getting closer and closer to that mark. Once we get to that point, no other Bitcoin can ever be created. I mean, this is not new information. I'm basically spitting things that we already know as a group. Or if you didn't know this already, no more than 21 million Bitcoin can be created, which makes it super, super valuable, because as we continue to push inflation in fiat currency, Bitcoin is going to increase in value because it's going to become more and more value because of how scarce it is. And it's a matter of supply and demand. And because the market is going to be short in supply and the demand for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies continue to go higher and higher, the price of Bitcoin is going to grow. Shocker bonkers. Anyway, why again is this relevant till today? Why should you care about this? 40% of the US dollars in existence were printed in the last 12 months. Crazy. So if you go back to this chart that I'm talking about here with inflation and the average rate of inflation, so these are numbers that we speculated in the past, gathering an average. These numbers are going to change because of the rate of printing that just happened recently. We're going to see these sectors grow in terms of the average inflation rapidly. Medical care is going to get crazy expensive in the next 5 years. Housing is going to get crazy expensive in the next 5 years. Transportation is going to get crazy expensive in the next 5 years. And you're probably not going to see it a whole lot in the apparel and the education and communication sectors and recreation. You're not going to see it in those minute details. But the actual really important things that affect your lives are going to be more expensive. So, I am not a financial advisor at all. This is just me and my personal perspective. I think you should bet on, number one, invest in yourself. I always preach this. I think you should always be investing in yourself. If you can find a ways to diversify your streams of income by building a business or, starting a side hustle or just doing something that you enjoy, do so. Second thing I want to mention here is save your wealth, store your wealth, and grow your wealth. You want to make sure that your money is not losing value. All your hard-earned money with your blood, sweat, and tears, you want to make sure that's not losing its ground. So $20,000 today, like we saw in the 1800s, $1 is now $1 back then is $20 today. So, your money is losing, it's being cut in 20. So make sure you continue to be aware of what's going on. The important things are, housing, food, medical, transportation, and those are getting a lot more expensive in the next coming years. Make sure you continue to save your money. Make sure you're investing in the right places. Make sure you're investing in yourself. This is your boy Elijah. I just wanted to bring you some quick videos talking about the state of crypto, keeping you informed about inflation, what's going on there, and why you should be aware of Bitcoin and why these things are important to store your wealth and grow your wealth. It's your boy Elijah. Again, if you love this video, make sure you smash that like button. It helps me and it helps push my videos out to other people. It gets them educated as well, informed, and it brings more people to the channel, which motivates me to continue to make videos like this that you love. If you're new to this channel as well, make sure you subscribe because I will always be bringing you banger videos like this that talk about personal finance, cryptocurrency, building your credit, invest in the stock market, and just overall being an entrepreneur and finding ways to expand your portfolio and diversify how you are making income. Thank you again for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Don't speak to no one, put the facts to the masses.